Hey, and thank you for tuning in. I'm going to be your reader, Quintari Shakir. I'm going to be doing a reading on Dr. Heavenly from Married to Medicine and her husband, Dr. Damon. Damon Combs, Heavenly Combs. So, first, please go to www.blackspectrumnetwork.com and purchase a private psychic reading. In addition to that, please like this video. Please leave a comment, whether positive or negative. All engagement matters. And please, please, please share this video with someone in your spiritual family. So getting right into the reading, I'm going to first look overall at just what's coming for Heavenly in these next 6 months. This is not going to really involve her marriage, but just right now, if she happens to watch this video, this is what's coming for you. All right, Heavenly. Heavenly is speaking about an ancestral debt that is old. So she's going to have to repay something because she's been profiting very heavily. It's also talking about candle energy work needing to raise the sexual chemistry in a relationship. Challenge or obstacle right now is that there's a love-struck person that's hidden within a tight social circle for Heavenly. There's an opportunity let's see. Okay, so right now what these three cards are telling me is that Heavenly may have prayed for, she's prayed for a change of direction in her relationship. And the spirits have given her that change of direction, and now the spirits want their payment, and their payment is her obedience. Because what the spirit is telling me is that her and her husband were in a place of harmony. And this is what they're telling me. When the show started, she and her husband were in a place of harmony. They had just been coming out of some very private marital problems. Private marital problems, and now new problems, and there's an opportunity for Heavenly to escape those marital problems throughout this chaos. Okay, the outcome of this for Heavenly, I think Heavenly and her husband are thinking about getting another home, purchasing another house. It's a bad decision. So what the cards are essentially saying right now is that Dr. Heavenly is going to maybe purchase a new home in the next season of Married to Medicine, or she's going to think about a change of career. Because I think that she's going to probably host workshops and probably do more speaking and teaching. But that's actually an immature decision. It's not going to go over well for production, for her to talk about a career shift or a change in residence being her using that as a storyline. She's going to try to use that. She's been thinking about using that because there are some problems in her marriage. And she, Heavenly, if you listen to this video, do some candle energy work. Light a pink candle, a red candle, damn it, a black candle. It doesn't really matter. Light a candle and set an intention, whatever the candle looks like. Light a candle, set an intention, and boom. Simple as that. All right. Because she keeps, it's very difficult for me to intuit about Heavenly, because right now what I can tell you is that she holds her feelings about her marriage very close to herself. But yeah, I think they're thinking about getting another home, and Heavenly's thinking about doing more teaching to pay for this new home. They're financially, and they're also financially established. I hear that. They are financially established. Okay, so let's see what's coming for Heavenly and her marriage next season. What's coming for Heavenly and her marriage next season? Oops. I always feel like I'm just repeating myself. I gotta work on that. I feel like I take too long to get to the points. Anyway, alright, so I'm gonna look at what's coming for Heavenly in her marriage, what works in her marriage, and what doesn't work in her marriage. What's coming for Heavenly in her marriage, what works in her marriage, and what doesn't work in her marriage. It doesn't matter. The card's gonna tell whatever. Okay, what works in Heavenly's marriage, what doesn't work in her marriage, what's coming for her marriage. Okay, what's coming for Heavenly's marriage? They actually are going to purchase another home. I see that Dr. Damon actually is spearheading this. And it's a very intelligent decision for them to grow more wealth. They're into real estate. Her husband is very much into real estate, and Heavenly is too. And this could actually be the change of career for Damon, but I definitely hear that Heavenly's doing more teaching and more conferences, lectures, speaking. Heavenly really likes, and she really likes to entertain. Her husband is definitely comfortable being in the shadows and orchestrating. Orchestrating. What is he orchestrating? Dr. Damon right now is using some of Heavenly's money from the show to invest into a new home. That's what I see. That's what I hear. Some of the money from the show, because he had such heavy participation on the show. He told him, hey, if I'm going to be on this show, we're going to do an investment, then, I got to, be broken off a little bread. And this is what I'm going to use my bread for. Because it's going to guarantee them another season on the show. If part of her storyline is him spearheading the purchase of a new home. All right, so what doesn't work? What does not work in her marriage, and what does work in her marriage? What does not work? Okay, let's talk about what does work. What does work is that both of them are emotional. Dr. Damon is incredibly in touch with his feelings. He does not wear them on his sleeve. And he actually tries to remain silent because he wants to keep his anger in check. He is sensitive. He's meek. He was picked on as a child. And as he got older, people started to gain more respect for him. And he's incredibly observant. And he tries to pinpoint who his enemies could be. And he tries to remain non-confrontational. And for him, how he sees Heavenly, he sees her as non-threatening. He thinks her personality is electrifying. He loves being in love with her. He loves her more than she loves him, actually. And that's not to say, but she look, Heavenly is her husband's biggest fan, but he loves her more than she loves him. What else works in their marriage is that they're both spiritually grounded. The ancestors are proud of them as a couple and their ability to work together as a unit. Heavenly massages out these anxieties that her husband has. He has issues with, he can get into depressive moods, and it is Heavenly's language. Heavenly is gifted with the ability to heal with her words. So his words can motivate him out of his depressive mood. Her words embolden him, and her words, she uses her words to re-emphasize his authority and to reinforce his sense of masculinity into the relationship. It makes him a much more powerful husband, and that makes them both work. The spirits like their relationship. They think the spirits are actually saying, we put together two very, very intelligent people that are supposed to represent. What the spirits are telling me is they're supposed to represent the polarity of intelligence. That it's not just about being academically intelligent, and it's incredibly important for human beings to be academically intelligent. But when it comes to building long-lasting relationships, it will be your linguistic intelligence and your emotional intelligence that keeps the foundation of the relationship together. All right, now what does not work in their marriage is the academic intelligence, because they disagree about a lot of things. Dr. Damon is in some ways more progressive. In some areas he's more progressive than Heavenly is. Both of them have the same religious views. Both of them experience spirituality in the same ways. But what the Spirit is telling me is that Dr. Damon spends much more of his time in his imagination, and Heavenly spends much more of her time thinking about things in a more scholarly way. And what they're telling me is that Dr. Damon has to spend time in his imagination because his job requires his full attention, and because of the sort of work that he has done, he has to be that focused because he has to make precise cuts, precise diagnoses. And Heavenly, on the other hand, has teams of people helping her. Therefore, she can spend more of her more of her mental tokens learning about all these different intellectual fields. And she's smarter than him in business and academics. And she's smarter than him in terms of emotional intelligence. And that is what kills the relationship, because sometimes Heavenly feels as though Heavenly runs away from Damon sometimes. Sometimes she just does not want to deal with his problems. He can be a big baby. And he's very needy. And Heavenly spends a lot of time with her children sometimes in order to get away from the stress of her marriage, because her husband is incredibly needy. And her husband does not have the ability to self-soothe, which is why he remains so patient. Because when he gets out of line and his emotions he can't keep his emotions in check once they're out of order. Once his emotions are out, they're out, and only Heavenly can reel him in. So he keeps it together. He has to, because he can't self-soothe himself out of his anger, and that's another issue that Heavenly has. He's codependent on her, and he could be much more expressive with his personality, but he has these different emotional triggers. He won't get angry in public, and he won't act out in public, but he carries that, he internalizes it and brings it home. All right, so I'm going to ask, are there any infidelities in their marriage? Is there a power imbalance in their marriage? And what can we expect to see from them next season? There have been no infidelities in their marriage. There have been no infidelities in their marriage. Damon is, there have been no infidelities, and this is why. Her husband is incredibly strong-willed. He is very spiritual. He goes to church and he actually absorbs the teachings, and he tries his best to keep what he considers to be sinful thoughts under control. He kills them when they first form. Has he thought about cheating? He doesn't even let his mind go there. That's not even who he is. He will not let his mind. He just doesn't go there. It's not his thing, and it's not in his nature. And he tries to escape the traditional shortcomings. He's trying to escape. He's trying to escape from the shortcomings that arise from male socialization in the United States. And he knows that many men fall short of becoming godly men because they dishonor their spouses by being deceptive with them or not forthcoming with them about the relationship. They're in a monogamous relationship. Is there a power imbalance? There's not a power imbalance, but Damon is the leader of the household. They have their household functions from a Christian nuclear model. He's the head of household. She is the wife. She is the support system. And if it didn't function that way, they would have complete chaos in their home. It has to function that way, and it has to function that way. Not to it. And please listen to me very carefully. Her relationship has to fit into that Christian model, not because the ancestors wanted to be that way, but because their personalities make it that way. They are codependent on one another. There are things that Heavenly has that Damon needs, and things that Damon has that she needs, and she needs to feel as though there is an authority that she must answer to. She works by rules and laws, and Damon, for himself, he just likes to feel that there's another presence there to help him make a decision. Heavenly needs rules and structures about her life, because without it, she feels as though the world, there's just too much temptation in this world. There's no telling what I can get into. So it makes much more sense for her to go ahead and get married, because there are rules in the marriage that she feels she has to abide by as a Christian woman. With that said, this is not the model relationship for all Christian people. However, this model works for them given their personalities, their pathologies, and what they desire from this, from experiencing a marriage. This is what they want, and what's coming from them next season. Heavenly's going to try to craft a very Heavenly is going to try to, she's trying to intellectualize Heavenly's trying to intellectualize her life right now. And she's trying to pick and choose. Like, if I present the producers with this little bit of messiness, maybe it will get them off of my backs, because they're coming for the marriage. The producers are ready to dig into Heavenly's marriage. They want, and they're going to start requesting many more scenes and much more involvement from her husband in this show, because here he is again, and he wants, the thing is, he wants to walk away with something. He wants to walk away with more. So they're going to have to give Heavenly more money if they expect her husband to appear on the show more. What is coming for them as far as a storyline? Some fake shit. Excuse my language. But it's going to be some fakery. It's some fakery. It's fakery. Smoke and mirrors. And we need to... And here's the thing. See, the spirits are saying it right now. See through the smoke and mirrors of what is about to be portrayed in this next season, because it is going to shake things up for a lot of Christian people that watch the show, because she had, and this is what the spirits are telling me, she has a fan base, a following that is looking up to her. If you all are watching her, please see through the smoke and mirrors and know that she's going to intelligently manufacture drama that the producers are going to buy as legitimate. All right, so that's been my reading for Dr. Heavenly. I hope that you all very much enjoyed that. Please go to www.blackspectrumnetwork.com, purchase a private psychic reading from me. Please like this video, leave a comment, whether positive or negative. I'm going to thank you for your support. And in addition to that, please share this video with someone in your spiritual family. I will see you all again for another reading. Bye-bye. I just want to fly away. First class out of space.